If you've got cranky knees, this video is for you. I'm going to teach you what I consider is step one on the road to recovery for general knee problems. My name is John Sifferman, and I'm a fitness coach who used to have really bad knee problems many years ago, 22-ish years ago, and went the traditional medical route, went to my doctor who referred me to a sports medicine specialist, who referred me to an orthopedist, who referred me to a physical therapist, who, you name it. Like over 2.5 to 3 years, I was pursuing traditional medical solutions to fix my knees and some other injuries that I had at the time. And in the end, it wasn't successful. And all the different doctors told me the same thing, like, John, you're just a hard case. Like, you're gonna have knee problems for the rest of your life. You're not gonna be able to do normal stuff, like go for a long walk or do anything athletic, let alone run. And at the time, I couldn't run 10 feet without pain, like this searing pain in both of my patellas. And I thought, this is a lost cause. And so I kind of gave into it. It was frustrating and depressing. But eventually I kind of said, enough is enough. I'm going to take matters into my own hands and figure this out. And I did. Figured out what worked for me, and I figured out some things that have worked for other people. So I say that to give you some hope, but also to say, I am not a doctor. And if you need a traditional medical solution for an injury or a health problem, you need to check with your doctor. It is very important. Didn't work for me in this case, but it may be necessary for you. So everything I'm about to teach you is exercise. And so if you've been cleared for exercise and you can perform these exercises without pain, they're probably safe for you to do so, even if you have something going on with your knees. But again, check with your doctor, read that medical disclaimer in the description, just to be sure. So we're going to start with just a few exercises to assess and improve your range of motion. And I think that's step one on a road to recovery if you're dealing with knee problems or other joint problems. Like, you need to be able to move through a full range of motion. You need to be able to fully extend and flex that knee joint as much as possible. And the knee doesn't just flex and extend, it also rotates, and we'll get into that in a minute. So start by standing up. We'll have a hip width stance, so not too wide and not too narrow, but just a comfortable stance. I'm going to have you put your hands on your knees. We're just going to move our knees around in a circle, nice and slow, staying out of pain. And if any of this is painful, you got to back off or not do it. And we're just going to move the knees back and then to the outside and then forward and then to the inside, meaning together. We're just going to continue that circle at your own pace. Smooth and slow is better than fast and jumpy. And you might notice some asymmetries. One side's a little different than the other, but we're trying to go all the way around, reaching as far as we can around that circle. And it's okay to rock onto the insides or outsides of your feet. They're just kind of here for the ride. I'll show you from the side. Why don't you switch directions? So we'll go inside to the front, to the outside, and then back. You don't have to lock your knees in the back. You can if you want to. Find what feels good for you. But again, we're trying to go all the way around that range of motion as much as possible. When we're doing these exercises, you might feel some little cracks and pops. Those are most likely just little air bubbles getting squeezed out from some of the crevices in there. As long as there's no pain, it should be fine. We'll just do one more circle. And all right, we're going to do something similar, but just a little different. So I'm going to have you move your feet a little bit closer together. They don't have to be all the way together if you don't want to. I like to keep mine just a few inches apart. Same thing, hands on the knees. And then this time, instead of doing these alternating circles, we're going to do the circles in the same direction. Basically coordinate them. So go from one side all the way back to the other side, all the way forward, and just continue that circle. So we're trying to get a little bit deeper than we were before. Again, if we can do it without pain. Just do one or two more. We'll say two more. In this direction, at your own pace. Does not matter how fast I'm going. And we'll switch directions. Hear those snaps and cracks and pops. And what this is doing is it's giving you a feeling for what your range of motion is at this joint, and maybe you feel some sensitive or uncomfortable parts or positions. We'll do just a couple more circles. But we're trying to increase our range of motion here. And we'll stop. All right, from here we're going to transition to a single leg at a time. So if you need to hold on to something for balance, go for it. We're not working on our balance right now unless you want to. So we're going to shift to one foot. We're going to raise the other foot, and we're going to lock the knee out in front of us. And I want you to have your toes pulled back when you do this. And then we're going to flex the knee, heel to butt, and then extend all the way to lock out. And just do that a few times, keeping your toes pulled back towards your shin at all times. And after you've done a few, try to raise your leg a little bit higher than you were before. It does not need to be this high. It could be down here. It could be wherever you need it to be. But as you're extending with a number of reps, try and increase the height of your leg until you get to the point where you're like, okay, that feels like a good challenge. All right, we're going to switch to the other leg. So get a firm footing. We'll go heel to butt and then extend the knee. And again, we're keeping those toes pulled back the entire time. So heel to butt, extend all the way to lock out as far as you can without any pain. If there's a little bit of discomfort, that's okay. If you lose your balance, that's okay. We'll do just a couple more. All right, switch to the other leg. This time we're doing the same thing, but we're going to point the toes this time. So heel to butt with those toes pointed all the way to extension. Slightly different feeling, slightly different effect on the knee. Just a couple more. And again, you can try and elevate it a little bit more after you've done a few repetitions. And we'll switch to the other leg. Same thing. Point the toes, heel to butt, and extend all the way to lockout. I'll just do some of these. As many as you need at your own pace. Don't feel like you gotta match my tempo. All right, switch back to the other leg. This time we're gonna do a knee rotation drill. So we're gonna lift one knee up. What I want you to do is turn or twist your feet so that they're turning towards your center line. Your toes are pointing across you as much as you can. And then same as before, I want you to extend that knee all the way to lockout while you're keeping your toes turned in. So it's this rotational movement through extension. And just keep that there. You can go through that full range of motion again, all the way to extension, all the way to flexion. And then we're gonna do the opposite now. So we're gonna turn the toes to the outside, rotating the knee externally, and we're gonna extend while holding that rotation of the knee. And we're gonna extend fully and flex as much as is comfortable. Just a couple more. All right, switch to the other leg. So we're gonna go knee up. I'm gonna rotate the toes in across your center line internally, and then extend the knee, lock the knee all the way to lock out while holding the toes pulled in, holding that internal rotation of the knee. Give you a side view for this one. Do a couple more reps. Then we're going to turn it to the outside. So externally rotating the toes and then extending the knee all the way to lockout. All right, just one more. All right. Last one we're going to do together is a circle. So switch to the other leg, raise the knee up, and we're just going to do a loose circle with the foot kind of hanging and dangling. Don't try and control this one super slow. I just want to kind of loose it first. And we'll switch directions. And now I want you to do a super slow controlled one. All the way around as far as you could get with that range of motion. And switch directions. All right, switch legs. So we'll have the knee up, some loose, kind of foot dangling circles, nice and easy. And we'll switch directions. And then we'll do a few slow controlled ones. We'll switch directions. Oop, try not to fall over. All right, and we'll take a break. So that's it, just a few joint mobility drills for your knees to try and recover the basic ranges of motion, which are flexion, extension, and rotation internally and externally. Hope it was helpful. These are exercises that you can do every day if you'd like, even multiple times a day. And so if you're really struggling with your knee mobility and you don't have a pain-free range of motion, I'd encourage you to do these often. And that's a great step one on the road to recovery. Again, eventually you're going to want to coordinate and refine these motions and add a strength component, but this will be a great start. So I wish you well on your road to recovery. Thank you for your time. Let's make it a great day. All right, see you in the next video.